even before the killing of Osama bin Laden, the U.S. and Pakistan had a rocky relationship. So what happens now with so many questions about which side Pakistan is really on? Let's get more on this from CBS News Chief Foreign Affairs Correspondent Lara Logan, who is in Washington for us this morning. Lara, good morning.
Good morning, Chris.
So billions of dollars in U.S. aid is funneled to Pakistan annually. As far as U.S.-Pakistani relations right now, is the U.S. taxpayer getting their money's worth?
It doesn't look that way, does it? I mean, when the world's wanted man is living right in the arms of the military and the intelligence services, I mean, it certainly will look to American taxpayers. They will be asking the obvious question, how can we be funding Pakistan when, people like Osama bin Laden are given shelter on their soil? And what's interesting about this, Chris, is that for years this has been a broadly accepted fact. And yet now that you see the reality that Osama bin Laden literally was on Pakistani soil and not, in hardship, living in some cave somewhere, just existing on nuts and berries or anything else. I mean, he was living fairly comfortably in what is known as the cleanest city in Pakistan after the capital. So, clearly Americans are not getting good return on their investment, and the Pakistanis have some explaining to do.
I want to talk to you quickly about this Washington Post op-ed this morning from President Zardari of Pakistan. Elizabeth Palmer made mention of it just a moment ago. But in this op-ed, he says basically that his country has been helpful in counterterrorism intelligence. Is anyone buying that?
Well, this is an argument that the Pakistanis have made very successfully for the last 10 years. It's the reason that the U.S. has allowed them to get away with so much. And the truth of it is that, yes, there are Pakistani civilians that have been killed, a large number, and Pakistani security forces. But that's been in going after the terrorist groups like the Pakistani Taliban that have devoted themselves to getting rid of the Pakistani government and changing the situation inside Pakistan. In other words, the group that threatens the Pakistani government. The other groups that threaten the United States' interests, like the Afghan Taliban, the Haqqani brothers from eastern Afghanistan, the Lashkar-e-Taiba, the militant group that was formed by Pakistan to fight against India over Kashmir. I mean, these groups that are responsible, I mean, literally, Chris, what Americans should think about is if you walk in Arlington Cemetery past those fresh graves of American soldiers that are coming back every day from the battlefield over there, Pakistan has some of that blood on its hands, and they need to answer for that. For too long, the U.S. has stood back and said, oh, well, we fear the breakup of Pakistan. The Pakistanis are doing everything they can. Clearly, they're not doing everything they can. And more importantly, they're not doing the things that count. And so, President Zardari and others, of course, they're going to say this. I mean, they've been caught with their pants down here, and they're in hot water, and they know it, because as diplomatic as the U.S. has been publicly, you can bet that behind the scenes it's been a different story.
Lara Logan for us in Washington this morning. Lara, thank you.